Hello, I'm Ray here, and this is the Triumph Scrambler 1200XC, the 23 model, and today we're going for a ride. Okay, so this is the Triumph Scrambler 1200XC. I can't see a thing in my mirrors because they're all over the show. Forgive the grubbiness of this motorcycle. I literally brought it back from the South Island the other day on the back of the ute. It is covered in bugs. It's been loved, but it's got, what, 6,000k on the clock. So it's definitely broken in. What can I tell you about this bike? 1200cc engine, no quick shifter. A lot of form, not necessarily form over function, but a lot of care and attention has gone into the looks on this bike, the design of things. It doesn't just have a massive LCD screen slapped on the dash, but they've actually put some attention to detail into the bezels and things. So we've got a 17-inch rear wheel, we've got a 21-inch front, which, if you put some decent rubber on it, really gives it some off-road credential. It's a Scrambler, it's made to get off-road. It's old school, yet new school at the same time. Twin Öhlins rear shocks, some decent suspension up front, Brembo brakes. I don't think I even have cruise control. Oh, yes I do. There you go. I don't know how to set it, but I have it. There we go. I have cruise control. I'm a happy man. So I've got heaps of room around my knees. I've got my pegs. My knees are at a right angle. My pegs are straight down. I've got heaps of space. I can grip the tank with my knees. And the seat feels very long and flat. Quite comfortable, actually. I'm not forced into sitting right at the front of the seat like you are with a lot of sport bikes. It's just a very long, narrowish seat. Now this is the XC, so we've got a slightly lower seat height than the XE, which is like the fancy one with the high seat height. And to be honest, this is high enough for me. But check out the LCD screen. I mentioned before, we don't just have a full LED panel in front of us. We've got these bezels. Check this out. We've got little bezels in there and LEDs and little needles. How cool is that? We can actually have the old school feeling of needles pointing at our speed. I actually really like that. I've been told that some people say they think it's a little bit small, a little bit fine, but I reckon you get used to it. I can see I've got trip meter. I've got hours on the bike. I've got last cruise control. I don't really understand. I can see the time, which isn't correct. I've got the tacho on this side, speedo over there. I've got a gear indicator and a mode selector. I don't actually know what even mode I'm in. Should we change it? Probably not. But I do like that. It's very nice. It's very pristine and pretty. The engine itself, you could be forgiven for thinking it was more like an 800. It's large, it's got power, but it doesn't want to rip your face off. That might be the mode that I'm in. I'm in road, sport, rain, road, sport. Okay, we'll put it in sport mode and see what happens, eh? There's an off-road mode there as well, but well, I'm not off-road, so that doesn't matter. The bars I'm kind of used to, I kind of like. Reasonably wide adventure bike style bars. As I understand it, the Scrambler was the precursor to the adventure bike. You know, they took what was essentially a cruiser or a motorcycle that was quite common at the time and gave it longer travel suspension and bigger wheels so it could go off-road. But this bike is very much a I don't want to say fashion statement, but you know, it's this. You either buy, if you want to get off-road, you buy an adventure bike or you buy a Scrambler. If you like the modern classic, you're going to go Scrambler. If you like the modern aesthetic, you're going to go adventure bike, right? Okay, so Putting it in sport mode has really woken it up a bit now. I can feel it pulling. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's got a bit of grunt now in sport mode. Not that it didn't have grunt before, but you know, it was kind of, just felt a bit relaxed, a bit refined. Road mode is what you're going to ride to work on a Monday morning, having thrashed it down the gravel roads on a Sunday afternoon. Of course, being a Triumph, we've got a massive list of accessories that you can put on this bike when you buy it new, or you can buy accessories after the fact. One of those would be a quick shifter, and I would recommend, having ridden so many bikes with quick shifters lately, definitely put a quick shifter or Triumph Shift Assist on this bike. Okay, so I'm riding it pretty relaxed. I'm sitting back on the, let's get right up on the tank. I can't really get over the front wheel that well, because it's kind of, it's a long bike. I mean, I could probably stand up. There we go. Yeah, I can stand on the pegs and get over the front wheel. But while seated, you've got room to move, but you can't move too far forward because you've got quite a long fuel tank in front of you. Oh, it's got a lovely noise from the exhaust. It could be uncorked. The banana could be unwrapped a little bit more, but it does sound pretty good from the twin pipes. It's a lovely relaxed ride, actually. It's not an all-out rip your face off, go as fast as you can sort of ride. It's a swell. It's a waft. Got a waft into the corner, and then we waft out of it again. Okay, so when the road turns to gravel, what do? Well, you don't just stop, do you? No, you don't. You switch to off-road mode, which turns off your traction control, turns off your ABS. So this is the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XC. This is the slightly lower version of the other one. The other one's the XE, higher at the back. But this has got everything you want. 17-inch rear wheel, 21-inch front. We've got Brembo brakes. We've got twin 300 and something mil discs up front. What else do you want? It is the business. 1200cc donk in this thing. Now this isn't the engine out of the 1200 Tiger. No. They might share some little bits and pieces, but the engine in the Tiger has been reworked. But this is 1200. It's refined. It's lovely, but it's old school. It's a modern classic. And check out the exhaust. We've got a 2 into 1 into 2, and it just sweeps straight out the back there. I love it. I really do. We've got a beautiful big flat seat that you can move around on that seat. It's real comfortable. Yet also just basic, you know. And this tank, it's just a tank, you know. There's nothing fancy about it. There's no fancy plastic cowlings over it. It's just a tank. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky, though. We've got modern upside down forks, where we've got twin rear shocks from Öhlins. Check these out. I love the little gold flecks in there. That's really nice. All LED lighting. Indicators on the big stalk at the back. We've got the full LED tail light, and check out the headlight. The headlight, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's classic styling, but they've put some thought into it. All over the bike, that's the case. Right, let's go. This is the thing about a Scrambler. Where does this road go? I don't know, let's go find out. Somebody's been having some fun up here. So if you don't like getting the tail all squiggly on the gravel, keep it in rider modes with traction control on, because I tell you what, it does a really good job of keeping that grip in the rear end. There we go. As soon as it feels a little bit of looseness, a little bit of slip, it just brings that power back. Here we go, wailing on it. and it just goes whoom, and then brings it back, and you keep that grip at the rear end. I've still got ABS on, but to be honest, I don't mind it. It's quite nice. Don't get me wrong, I'll get rid of ABS any day, but yeah, if you're still learning or you're not overly confident on gravel, you can keep those rider aids on, and it'll look after you. This could be my sort of bike, you know. Big fat power when you want it, loaded up with gear, decent shocks that can handle all the weight, couple of saddlebags, maybe a tail bag, don't know about a tank bag, maybe. There's enough tank there to have a tank bag. Road tripping. It's got cruise control. It doesn't weigh a ton, which I think is, it's 230 kgs. I really like the Tiger Rally Pro, but it was just too big, the 1200. Just too big for me. This could be me, you know? It's easier to get a leg over. It's still got, you know, full ABS and traction control, but switchable. You can take it off road. That 21-inch front means you've got a good set of tires, good tire selection. Okay, so we've established that it sells the sizzle quite well. But what about the steak? What about the meat and veg? Does it do what a motorcycle needs to do 95% of the time? Cruising up and down motorways or going into town? Let's answer that question now. And cruise control on the motorway. Doesn't have radar cruise control, so you do have to pay attention. Hopefully this chimney doesn't slow down too much. But yeah, I mean, I'm used to a naked sport bike, so a naked Scrambler kind of ticks the boxes for me as well. Yeah, I'm wearing all that wind to the face, and I'm getting it on my chest, but it's what's the word? It's uninterrupted air. It's not turbulent air. And yes, to answer that question, it does do 50 km an hour suburban streets quite well. I'm riding along completely hands-free. I'm steering the bike with my hips and my ass, and it's quite comfortable. I like it. Cruise control, 51 kilometers an hour. Yeah, you stop, lady. The bars are not vibey at all. They're real rock solid. The mirrors are completely still. I can see in them. Maybe it's my positioning or the weight of the bike. I don't know. It wants to pull right. Now, it doesn't feel overly huge. I mean, the bike itself is pretty small, but it doesn't feel lumpy or massive to ride around in the slow streets. I don't really want to be stuck on the train tracks. Thanks very much. It's a really relaxed ride around town. For 1200, like it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel luggy. It doesn't feel... If you watched my street triple versus speed triple video, I lean towards the street triple because the speed triple, I never got it out of first gear. This thing here, sitting at 3,000 revs at 50 kilometers an hour, cruise control, it's perfectly happy. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel too big for the situation. I don't feel like I'm reaching for the top shelf all the time. This is really nice. This is tuned for this sort of riding, yet is quite comfortable to get off the road, get off its ass off-road or on the motorway. You know, I think this bike's a bit more of a jack of all trades. A jack of all trades, you know, master of none, but God, it's got some character. This thing, it's not the fastest, it's not the angriest, it's not the most capable on-road, it's not the most capable off-road. But what it does do, it does with James Bond-esque flair. It does it with a stiff upper lip, a bow tie, and a suit jacket. It's distinguished. And it's probably why it's the poster child of the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. It's heavy and metal. It's not light and plastic, but it carries that weight. It's a dad bod that gets on with the job and builds a house, fixes a fence, and then plays with its kids at the end of the day. It's not lean and felt and winning, you know, bodybuilding awards. It unapologetically is what it is. It has grunt, it has mod cons, but still gets on with the job of putting a smile on the rider's face. And for that reason, the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XC is firmly in my top 5 motorcycles for the year. This is a great bike. This is the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XC. If you want to know more, chuck any questions you've got in the comments box below. Check out motonz.com. I like it. Is it going to stay in my garage? Wow, who knows? Anyway, this is MotoNZ. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come along for the ride. Plenty more where this came from. Catch you in the next one. Hit root.